The Texas two-step continues in the Turkey Hill Truck Series as we head just a couple hundred miles south, still in the state of Texas, but now at a historic racetrack, the Texas World Speedway. So we are here for 32 laps around this 2-mile concrete oval, College Station, Texas, for the BC Rich Guitars 250 in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, season number 8. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Texas World Speedway for the 6th race of the season here in season 8 of the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Going to be a third of the way through the season after we are done here today. We're in store for a very interesting race here. 32 laps around this 2-mile racetrack, about a 25-lap fuel run, so these guys will be coming down the pit lane right near the end of the race if the race stays green. But if you watched last week's race, you know that might not happen. We had 4 cautions last week at the Texas Motor Speedway. Let's see what we end up here at the Texas World Speedway. Join alongside Nathan Stapleton for the call of tonight's event. And Nathan, it's a very fast racetrack here. They're going to be averaging close to 200 miles per hour around this place. However, they generally stay in a single file line, and we could see ourselves a very clean race. So what is the strategy and what is the key to getting up front here if you're starting in the mid-pack or deep in the field?
Well, I think it's going to be very interesting of what ends up happening here, because I think with it being a different package than in the past year at Texas World Speedway, I think track position might be more important than what we normally see here. I think we will still see some 2 wide, some 3 wide, but from what you've told me, it won't be like it was in the past where it was just constant 3 wide pack racing. And with the rains as well, that's going to change things, and I think it might be a little bit of track position here at Texas World, and I think starting up front will be way more important than, say, starting in the back on this one.
And we'll have to see how it all goes down for those guys in the back of the field. But some of the guys starting up front are guys who are doing really well in points, including Eric Drew. He starts 3rd in this race here today, and he's got the points lead, 156 points towards the championship for the driver of the number 22. Sebastian Kukulon is only 14 points behind, and he starts on the outside pole. And you got Ethan Lewis there, starting in the... I don't know where he's starting specifically. He's starting more in the mid-pack, 26 points behind. And then you got Nathan Stapleton, 29 points behind. Noah Clifton, Allison Reen, and both 32 points behind coming into this event. But starting on the pole position for this event, it is Shane Lake in the number 3 who grabbed the fastest time in qualifying yesterday. Alongside him, it is the driver second in points, Sebastian Kukulon, who you believe has won this race in the past. You got Eric Drew to the inside of Casey Nanico in row number 2. Memphis Fisher to the inside of Bristol winner Thomas Troxel. Nathan Orman and Ryan King are the Darlington winner there in row number 4. And then Zach Winkle and Joey Hightower make up the top 10 starting positions here in the BC Rich Guitars 250. Jonathan Logan, a great starting position for him considering the season he has had. He's to the inside of Evan Carlson, and there you are, Nathan Stapleton to the inside of Chris Tejada in row number 7. Make sure everybody is rolling off just fine, and it looks like all 36 drivers are ready to go here from the Texas World Speedway. Nathan, who do you think is going to get the race victory here in the BC Rich Guitars 250?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think track position is going to be very important, and I'm in the spirit of headsets. I'm going to go with the number 51, the JBL Toyota of Nathan Orman getting the job done here today at Texas World Speedway.
I like my JBL headphones, so good choice there for Nathan Orman. A great opportunity for Orman in this event here. Hasn't been the best of seasons to start off for him. He's 31st in points. He could swing all that around here today with a win at Texas World. Well, ready to get started here from this 2-mile oval. Pace truck's going to pull down, and 36 drivers going to do battle for 32 laps here around one of the greatest historical racetracks in the game. Shane Lake and Sebastian Kukulon on the front row were green flag racing in the BC Rich Guitars 250. Well, Kukulon got the jump at the start of the race, but Shane Lake took it right back away from him. He's going to lead lap number 1, a bonus point towards the championship for Shane Lake right there. Memphis Fisher and Eric Drew on the inside as Kukulon slips back on that outside lane. Zach Winkle's up here. Here comes Nathan Orman looking for a shot on the 99. And how about Jonathan Logan in the 18? He's moving up fairly well there. Started in 11th, now up to the 7th position in just 2 laps.
Some of these guys are absolutely flying on the start of the race, and this might be when you want to get the most positions with the unknown of the setup that these guys will have. But right now, Shane Lake is pulling away, and look at all this three-wide races in the field early on.
You got Ryan Kinghart there, Nathan Stapleton. Of course, Stapleton almost got the race victory at Darlington, but it ended up going to Kinghart in that event there. Nathan Orman there now on the outside lane. Allison Rain, our last winner, she's been doing an excellent job as of late. Comes into this race 6th in points. She tied 5th in points. Holds a tiebreaker on Noah Clifton for that 5th position. And she's looking to go ahead and double it up here in the state of Texas. We got 4 wide, though, right ahead of her. 4 wide here at the Texas World Speedway. Didn't quite expect this early on. I don't think it's going to stay like this for long. Ryan here trying to get that inside lane to work. That way inside lane is difficult as there was contact there between Casey Nanico and Jonathan Logan off the exit of turn 2.
That was very, very close off turn number 2. 4 wide, I didn't think we would see it either, but it almost didn't work out for the field. That was very, very close enough. Also, just want to say, good to know that my Eagles been doing pretty solid in the truck series this season. Allison Rain tried getting past my look, but so far it's some really crazy racing at Texas World Speedway. But Shane Lake clear out front in this one.
And not only is he clear out front, he's pulling away a little bit here from Memphis Fisher. Zach Winkle in 3rd, Jonathan Logan in 4th, and Kukulon trying to move back up to the field. Of course, Kukulon wants to finish ahead of Eric Drew because he's the guy right behind him in points, and he can get every point that he can get so far here in this championship. It's a strict points championship from start to finish, so you lose points in one race, that's going to affect you once we get to Homestead in December. So we'll have to see what that 75 can end up doing. Meanwhile, the 22 machine there of Eric Drew still holding on fairly well inside this top 10. Casey Nanico with a great run. Haven't seen much of him this season. And Allison Rain, Ryan Kinghart battling there for the 8th position. And Chris Tejada, Nathan Stapleton battling for 10th. Now starting the single file off just a little bit for 2nd, however. Zach Winkle has a move to the inside of Memphis Fisher, and here comes Sebastian Kukulon with a great head of steam in that inside lane.
Sebastian Kukulon, he is flying. He comes in here 2nd in the points. He started up front in this one. Then he wants to take 2nd away from the number 99, and here comes the 18 of Jonathan Logan trying to take 2nd away from him.
That inside lane really does struggle to work there through 1 and 2, and even through 3 and 4 pretty much. Not as much through 3 and 4. You get a better arc off the corner there. But it's definitely a very unique racetrack because that outside lane definitely carries a lot of momentum, especially through 1 and 2. So it's not like the inside lane has the advantage the whole entire way around. Sebastian Kukulon, though, wants to get the advantage here on Shane Lake. These guys have closed up on him for this race lead. Memphis Fisher to the inside of Zach Winkle for 3rd, and Jonathan Logan fell back to the 5th position right there. Got Allison Rain on the inside of Casey Nanico. You're going to see here Eric Drew on that way outside lane. He's going to get the advantage here on Kinghart and Chris Tejada, and mainly clear those guys for that position. Sebastian Kukulon right on the back bumper of Shane Lake for this top position. We'll have to see if this 75 finds any way around the 3, but Shane Lake has led every lap so far here at Texas World. Of course, you get an extra bonus point for leading the most laps in this event, so we'll have to see who ends up getting that done as well. But Kukulon looking very strong in this 75 early on here in the BC Rich Guitars 250.
I think as of now, it's going to be a battle between Shane Lake and Sebastian Kukulon. Shane Lake, he's been the dominant truck early on, but Kukulon, he's found some speed. At least, I think he does. He lost some ground in 1 and 2 that time to the number 3 of Shane Lake, but these guys might have to work with each other to catch up and pass Shane Lake and that number 3, because right now, he is just controlling the field at Texas World Speedway.
This is a very momentum-based racetrack, so if you have a bad corner, it's going to affect you the entire lap. And You definitely want to keep your momentum going no matter where you are on this racetrack. And that's that single file we were talking about early on. But they got some 4 wide back in here. Noah Clifton, 91 machine there of Igor Barreto. Eric Drew's falling back quite a bit. Our points leader struggling right now here. And the way things currently run, he's on the verge of possibly losing the points lead. Definitely a big shuffle going on back in here. Owen Miles, he started in the last position, and he has moved himself into the top half of the field here. So, in only 11 laps, Owen Miles has cleared half of the field here at the Texas World Speedway. Got some movement back in here. Laura Chung, Brad Stover trying to get on Ryan Kingart there. Back in for the 8th position. But Nathan Staple and Eric Drew both falling back a little bit right there from their respective positions. Ethan Lewis, Igor Barreto on their way up through the field the time being. But top 5 still single file here, and they're all still led by Shane Lake in this number 3.
So that might tell us that either Owen Miles, he didn't care about his qualifying step, and that he had his race step all the way in, and he just flying through the field, or he just messed up in qualifying. Who knows? But Owen Miles is doing a really good job in that number 12 machine, flying through the field. But how about his teammate Allison Rain in the number 20, trying to do the Texas double, and not doing too bad for that number 20 machine for Young's Motorsports, only in 7th spot. And who knows, this could be a really good Texas two-step for that number 20 team if they can possibly go 2 in a row.
Absolutely, and then they had a really good run at the Texas Motor Speedway. I think benefited quite a bit from a lot of those guys getting wrecked out. Ryan Kingart, Noah Clifton especially were 2 of the stronger guys in that race before they got knocked out from accidents. And then she was one of those last drivers left and took that race lead on that last restart and never looked back for her first career win on the channel. And she could double it up here today at Texas World, especially if she pulls off some strategy on that cycle of pit stops. And you got to think, cycle is going to be about 25 laps. We're only about halfway through the run right now here in this BC Rich Guitars 250. We've yet to have a pass for the race lead in this race, interestingly enough. A lot of battling going on behind Shane Lake, but kind of keeping a lot of these guys behind. But there could be a bit of strategy here. These guys kind of lagging behind and not using as much fuel as the number 3 machine. With that 3 leading the field, he's pretty much going wide open this entire way around the racetrack, and that's definitely going to use up his fuel a little bit more than the rest of these guys. The rest of these guys might be able to go with just a little bit of fuel at the end of the race, so we'll have to see if that ends up becoming an issue. But Shane Lake might have to come out a little bit earlier than some of these other guys who might be able to go on a shorter pit stop. That might be the strategy these guys are trying to play off right here. Kukulon is kind of sticking right behind this number 3 machine. Allison Rain moving to the inside of Casey Nanico there for the 6th position and for the race lead. I think Kukulon's got it now. Took nearly half the race, but he's not going to get to the inside. Entering turn number 3, and Shane Lake will keep it on the outside lane to hold on to the race lead. You got the 99 of Zach Winkle right behind here. All 5 of these guys right on each other here. It's almost like Shane Lake's holding them up a little bit at the moment.
That was very, very close in 24. Shane Lake chopped off Sebastian Kukulon right there into turn 3 and 4. I thought Kukulon had the race lead, but Shane Lake ended up chopping the nose off, and Shane Lake is still the race lead. But I'm not convinced that Shane Lake has the better long run truck. I think Kukulon and maybe even Zach Winkle might have a better long run truck than what Shane Lake has at the moment.
And Kukulon's got a good run right here, but I don't know if he has enough momentum. Another thing to consider, the tire wear is definitely coming into effect here, and that's probably making it a little difficult for some of these guys to make moves. We're actually single file throughout the entire field, and Eric Monaco, the last driver out there on the racetrack, currently about 7.5 seconds off the race lead, so definitely a race of speed, and the trucks with better aerodynamics, I think, are at the advantage here today. Igor Barreto there on Chris Tejada. That is for 11th. And Owen Miles, like I mentioned, started last. He's now up to the 12th position. Or no, 13th, excuse me. But he'll be in 12th if he gets around Chris Tejada here. He might have a good opportunity of doing that here. Lap 18 of 32.
We might not we might have to take Owen Miles into some serious consideration, because he's absolutely flying in the number 12 machine. I mean, you might have to top out both of the Young's Motorsports trucks, well, at least 2 out of the 3, because Alice Marine is trying to take that spot from the 18, and Young's Motorsports, they must have found something for both Texas tracks, even though they are both completely different, shape-wise and asphalt-wise, but both have a lot of speed to them. That's the only similarity, and Young's Motorsports, especially in the 12 and the 20, have found something, because all miles went back to the almost in the top 10, and Alice Marine trying to take that 5th spot away from the 18.
She's trying to get that inside lane to work, but it's very difficult to do so, and you're going to see Memphis Fisher try that as well. I really don't know at this point what you do if you want to try to make a pass on somebody, but Allison Rain might have a shot here on Jonathan Logan now that things are getting a little antsy up front. Meanwhile, this is allowing these two guys to pull away. Kukulon and Shane Lake are like, you guys go ahead and battle. We'll just pull away and battle ourselves. Allison Rain finding that inside lane and finding some help from Laura Chung and Brad Stover. And she might be able to take this 4th position away, finally, from the 18 of Jonathan Logan. Memphis Fisher in the middle of all this. Brad Stover, Casey Nanico, Edgar Bretto, and there's Owen Miles as well on the 12 machine. Laura Chung's also moving her way through the field very well. She got the race victory at Atlanta 3 weeks ago, and here she is, running up front late in the going. It won't be long before these guys are going to be coming down the pit lane. Now, one thing to consider, it's a difficult, even though it's a big wide pit lane, these guys actually struggle coming in and out of the pit lane here at the Texas World Speedway, and we could see a bit of contact when we get this cycle of pit stops underway, so that could very well determine who gets the race victory if things don't go the right way for some of these guys. Laura Chung's kind of coming up through the field very well here in this number 61 machine. She could be a threat to win this race, and same with Allison Rain. She's also continuing to move her way through the field here. So Shane Lake's going to get an extra bonus point towards the championship. He has led the most laps in this race. Next time by, it's 10 laps to go in the BC Rich Guitars 250 here at Texas World. Allison Rain with a nose to the inside of Winkle, not enough to get an advantage.
All the way 10 laps to go. This race is flown on by, and we will have pit stops very soon. Allison Rain's still very fast in that 20 machine. And it's going to be interesting if you want to pit early. Well, be one of the last ones to pit, knowing that we are pitting so late here in this one.
I'm sure the crew chiefs on top of these pit boxes are brainstorming like crazy at the moment, trying to figure out what do we do to get to the race lead. Especially if you're someone kind of in the middle of this field, you know, the pit stop is so late, you can probably go fuel only if you wanted to. However, those tires could come into effect. If you take tires, you might get half a second to a second a lap on those guys who decide to stay out. Kukulon's been trying all he can, I think, to get around this 3 machine, but just has not been able to do it. And we talked about how difficult it might be to pass here at the Texas World Speedway, and I think we're seeing it right here. Between Kukulon and Shane Lake back in here 3 wide, as you have the 45 of Brad Stover, Edgar Barreto, Jonathan Logan in a battle right here. They've filed out ahead of those guys. Kukulon's trying again. He's right there on the 3 of Shane Lake, but not enough. I think this time by you might see some guys peek down to the pit lane. Brad Stover in the 45 might be one of those guys. Kukulon and Shane Lake, so the race leader's coming down right here. Stover is also down. Allison Rain is down the pit lane. You got Noah Clifton as well. And a lot of guys from the back of the field. We're going to see how well these guys can maneuver this pit lane here. Like I mentioned, we could see a bit of contact here. Zach Winkle will get a lap led. A bonus point for Winkle. Right here, we're going to see a little bit of contact. Nothing too major right there between Brian Webb and Allison Rain. Thomas Troxel getting blocked in there by Nathan Ormond. And the 17 having a bit of trouble getting into his pit stall, but he'll finally get there. As long as no one pulls a Ty Gibbs, you know. Shane Lake's going to get out ahead. There's Sebastian Kukulon, and there is Brad Stover, and they're all on each other right there. The top 3 off the pit lane. Allison Rain lost the position there to Stover. And then Noah Clifton, that's the top 5. Rest of the drivers coming down. They're led by Zach Winkle. Have a lot of guys coming off right here. And the guys trying to come down. Ryan Kinghart and Zach Winkle get into each other on the pit lane. Memphis Fisher and Casey Nanico also get into each other on the pit lane. And then Eric True also has damage. Nanico's going to be able to get into his pit stall, and so will Eric Drew. Kingart's also in service, and so is Zach Winkle, but that's going to slow those guys down a little bit, and they might have a bit of damage. Here are the guys who came off. Laura Chung in the 61, the first driver off the pit lane of those guys. And here come the drivers who just came off the pit lane. Shane Lake, Sebastian Kukulon, and Brad Stover. So we'll have to see if these guys close in to the 61. There's another issue for Kinghart. He wrecked out in last week's race at Texas, and once again, another issue for him. They're all stuck behind Chris Reynolds here trying to come off the pit lane. That shuffled the field up quite a bit.
Jeez, Nathan and Woman just split the gap. That really shook things up. And you mentioned it that this might be a tough pit looking on, and it caused a lot of havoc right there, and that changed things dramatically. And now these guys have to chase down Laura Chung for the racing win.
Laura Chung might pull off exactly what she pulled off at Atlanta. The problem is Shane Lake, Brad Stover, and Sebastian Kukulon are all going to be flying here, I think. I think that 61 may have gone fuel only. These guys at least took 2 tires on their set of pit stops, and that'll be plenty to be able to get around this 61 machine. There's Ryan Kinghart in the 98. He's going to go a lap down. Been a tough break for him. Eric Drew is actually out of the race because of the contact he suffered. Memphis Fisher is also a lap down. And then Zach Winkle and Ryan Kinghart both with issues. And Kinghart's been solid all season, but he just has not been able to capitalize outside that one win at Darlington. And, even though we're only a third of the way through the season after today, those points are definitely going to add up, and it may not be an easy season for that 98 team if that keeps up. Laura Chung out front. It's going to be 4 laps to go. Both Laura Chung and Shane Lake have won races this season. They're both trying to become the first 2-time winner this season in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Kukulon kind of still stuck behind Barretto there. Allison Rain and Noah Clifton has joined this pack. Might be at a point where it's kind of difficult to make this move for the race lead, and we're also at a point of no return, so if we happen to get a caution, the race is going to end right here. Brad Stover trying to find a way around the 3 machine for second so he can have a shot at Laura Chung for the race lead. There'll be 3 laps to go this time by in the BC Rich Guitars 250 for Laura Chung in the number 61.
I think the best way that Shane can win is if he tells the 45 spotter, the spotters get talking, and the 3 and the 45 decide to work together because they are both Chevy, and they decide to not help the Toyota up to number 61 of Laura Chung. But that could be a factor. He was 2.5 laps to go at Texas World.
That was Nicholas Samadia there, and Brad Stover going to move Shane Lake out of the way. I think this 45 might be faster. Hager Barretto, Sebastian Kukulon there. Thing is, only 2 laps left in this race for Laura Chung, trying to get her second win of the season, and they're side by side behind her for second. That's exactly what Laura Chung wants to see. I think Stover will clear Shane Lake through the corner here if he pushes him up. He's got it. But now will he have enough time to find his way to the back bumper of the 61? 1.5 laps to go here in the BC Rich Guitars 250. I always thought this was a real race to get a guitar as the trophy. And if this was a real race, we would give out a guitar. Be a fictional guitar, an NR2003 guitar. Just like these are NR2003 trucks. White flag in the air for Laura Chung here at Texas World. And Brad Stover is coming. He's got a full head of steam here down the front stretch. Will he shoot to the inside and try to go for the race lead? Doesn't have quite enough there, and that 61's going to hold that outside lane to her advantage. Brad Stover, that might have been his shot, and I don't know if he's going to get it. Shane Lake is falling back to 5th. Barretto's up to 3rd, and Kukulon is in 4th. This is the last opportunity. Brad Stover might have a shot if he can close in, but Laura Chung did an excellent job going through the corner. Stover is trying to close in, and he is closing in, but it's not going to be enough. Laura Chung with her second win of the season. She gets it done in the BC Rich Guitars 250.
They just ran out of time. Stover, Barretto, Kukulon, and Lake, they all ran out of time. Laura Chung with strategy gets the job done. Second win on the season. Kind of like the way that she won at Atlanta. And first 2-time win on the season. And I bet that number 61 team from Hawaii must be pretty happy. Gained all the way win number 2 and only a third of the way through the season. And hopefully they don't decide to break the guitar here in between and the BC which guitar is 250 like Kyle Busch did many years ago.
Hey, it's not a real guitar, so it's okay. Hey, Laura Chung, an excellent job there. Kind of came out of nowhere to get that win. They're still having trouble coming down the pit lane. That was an interesting cycle there with those guys, and that's an unfortunate break there for Eric Drew, Memphis Fisher, Sam Adio ended up a lap down, and then Ryan Kingard as well on the 98 machine. Everybody else did finish on the lead lap, but I kind of knew that was going to be a bit of an issue here today. But Laura Chung didn't have an issue; she grabbed the race victory. Brad Stover was close there, just couldn't hold it off. And then Nick Arbretto, Sebastian Coulon, and Shane Lake who led the most laps, finishing 5th. Noah Clifton, Allison Rain, Jonathan Logan, Owen Miles from last to 9th. Not too shabby. And then Brian Webb rounding out the top 10 here at Texas World. Take a look at the rest of the results. Our points leader finished last in this race. So we're going to have a new points leader, that's for sure. That'll be Sebastian Kukulon, who finished in the 4th position for this race. So definitely interesting to see how Kukulon does going forward and how the rest of the season goes going forward. But Laura Chung definitely appears to be one of the stronger drivers in the field. What do you think her chances are of a championship this season here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series?
Honestly, if she can keep this up, and if she can do this again, where she wins 2 out of 6 races, then she would have 6 wins on the season. And if she can do that, I would imagine she could be a easy championship favorite here this season. But we are only a third of the way through, still have 2/3 left of season 8 of the Turkey Hill Truck Series.
And we still doing a lot of great races coming up. Next weekend, we head to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, not the Roval, the Oval for these guys, for the K&N 200. And only 34 laps there around that 1.5-mile racetrack. It'll be a quick one, but it'll be a fun and fast one as well. And we'll have a lot of fun seeing who gets the race victory there. And this championship battle is starting to shape up just a little bit. Kukulon, your new points leader. Laura Chung might be closing in as well in this championship. And don't forget about Clifton and Allison Rain. They both had great runs here today as well. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Laura Chung for grabbing the race victory here at the Texas World Speedway. And, yeah, that's all I have. On behalf of Nathan Stapleton, here are the points for the Turkey Hill Truck Series after 6 races. We'll see you guys next weekend from the Charlotte Motor Speedway on Friday night. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.